Hi, it's Tim Pohanka, and I am here with another Fredericksburg Strong podcast, and this is a really exciting one because I have Nick Hall here from the FredNats. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. We're doing some social distancing,
Yeah.
so we are separated apart. It is in the middle of Corona, and I want to start there. I mean, you look at the two top things happening in Fredericksburg up until this point. 2020 was supposed to be all about FredNats.
Yes, sure.
And somehow you guys got bumped off by the virus Corona. So let's talk about that. What's COVID done to the stadium progress and to the season? Let's talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a lot of people may know, Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, and really not just baseball, but all sports is pushing everything back. The NBA, they were mid-season. They're mid-season and they're taking a break right now, and we're doing the same. We're going to have a delayed start. We don't exactly know when opening day is going to be, but that right now is kind of up in the air on what that looks like. But the one big positive is that construction is an essential business to Fredericksburg, to Fredericksburg and to Virginia. So construction actually never better out there. One of the good things about the construction, the site that we're on right now, is that outdoor activities, hiking, and and going out and doing stuff like that is a social distancing approved event, and so that translates right into construction. And so they are full steam ahead with the construction project. And if we were to have to play on April 23rd, which is obviously very unlikely at this point, based on some of the things that have been announced from the CDC, the WHO, and then obviously through Major and Minor League Baseball, if we were to have to play on April 23rd, we would be ready to go.
So you sit there and say construction is moving along, which
Absolutely.
is great.
Yeah.
So when we were looking at an opening day, you were looking at a stadium that wasn't going to be quite finished.
You're 100% right. Yeah. So on opening day, how it was going to look is essentially, if you were in your seat, nothing would be different. You'd have this beautiful jumbotron. The field would be completed. The outfield wall, all the pads are up. All the players are playing. The lights are already good to go. So if you were in your seat, your fan experience would be no different. Where it would be different is if you were to stand up and turn around. Concession stands most likely out of some temporary units, and some different things about the amenities that will be kind of rolled out over the course of this year. The bathrooms will flush.
Okay.
The bathrooms will flush. So it's a lot of the amenities throughout the stadium that wouldn't be completely done, but your fan experience of being in the seating bowl, watching a baseball game, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
So a lot of people have always come to me, and they, for some reason, they think that I know more than everybody else, and I don't know why they do. But they keep going, how the heck do they think they're going to be able to have grass on the field?
Yeah.
And I got to that. I guess it's because I got to take a tour of the stadium. It's not grass.
It's not grass. It's turf. It's turf. It's going to be. We are building this stadium not just for baseball. We're building it for many different events throughout the year, including the former Celebrate Virginia concert series will be moving into the stadium. When we're able to have concerts. So one of the big things with that is with the number of events that we already have planned on a year-to-year basis, the grass real grass would not be able to hold up. It would just be impossible. We'd kill it. We'd be putting in new grass 2-3 times a year. So we're artificial turf. We're going artificial turf, and actually this week, right now, as we're recording, is the rollout of the actual turf itself. Every layer is done. The next step on our field is the actual, what they call carpet, but it's the actual material, the actual artificial grass is going down right now, literally as we're talking.
So how many stadiums in minor league baseball are AstroTurf?
So there are.
It's not AstroTurf.
It's not. So we are the first minor league stadium to have this specific synthetic turf. It is the same turf that is at the Arizona Diamondbacks and the same turf that the Texas Rangers are putting into their new stadium that they are also building that's supposed to be unrolled out this year. So one of 3 professional baseball stadiums, period, right now that have this turf. And so if you know, and I'll tell you what, I have learned more about turf in the last 2-3 months.
I'm sure you've learned about turf and all that. So yeah, I'm quite certain you've become an expert in it.
So the difference of our turf compared to normal turf, like if you've ever gone to a college campus, a really nice high school facility, and they have that turf, they got the small black beads that are essentially rubber or tar that is the filler. Our filler is actually coconut shell. Coconut shell and sand is actually that. So there's no rubber. It plays more like true grass.
Should be cooler.
And it's slightly cooler as well. Slightly cooler as well. So it's a little bit different than normal turf, and we are the only minor league baseball team right now. I think that we are subject number 1 in a new trend that we will see throughout minor league baseball. We are the first minor league team to have it.
So there's a rumor going around that with it being coconut shells and sand, that this is actually a Jimmy Buffett.
Hey, look.
Is there margaritas that we're going to be getting?
We are doing everything we can to get Jimmy Buffett to Fredericksburg, and we are starting with this turf.
Yeah, with the turf. So we got your turf in here. So I didn't know if that was maybe the name should have been the parent head. I don't know. Maybe just throwing it out there. So with this being an artificial surface, is baseball okay with that? Is there a risk of injury?
Oh no. We're not anywhere near the first. We're one of the first to have this specific type of turf, but by no means am I saying that we're the first team to have turf.
Okay.
There are teams at about every single level, and then multiple also too in the MLB level as well. We are not reinventing the wheel when it comes to bringing in artificial grass to a baseball stadium. It's just this new synthetic blend. So baseball has been played on turf. The Blue Jays have had turf since back at. I don't know. I don't have that stat. Back in the day.
You're not
yeah.
James. We know that.
Yes.
Okay, it's okay.
But yeah, no, we're definitely not reinventing the wheel and putting a truly new thing that nobody's ever seen before out there.
So for players that are developing, do you think that has any impact on them, or does it give them an advantage given that I guess more stadiums in Major League are going to be on a synthetic turf?
Yeah, the trend is
some of the places they've played.
The trend is synthetic. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is going to go to synthetic, but a new trend is to put in this synthetic turf. It is, for every research out there, is that this new synthetic blend plays just like real grass. So, hypothetically speaking, the way that it is constructed is that there shouldn't be a big difference between our field and any other field that they've played on that has grass that's been well maintained. It shouldn't have a big effect one way or the other. The ball shouldn't be playing any faster or slower.
Really?
They should not be. So it should be something that it doesn't have a huge effect on a learning curve or anything like that to be able to play on this material.
So now, do you have synthetic dirt?
We do. No. I'm sorry. The warning track is synthetic.
Okay, but you have no synthetic dirt.
No synthetic dirt. The actual.
We're gonna have to play. We're gonna have rain delays then.
Well, hey, it doesn't rain in Fredericksburg. I don't know if you heard it. Not during baseball season. That's the new rule that we have to remind. Yeah, we have to remind Fredericksburg that now during baseball season it no longer rains. So that's a really good thing that Fredericksburg and the mayor has promised us. But the dirt, the skin, the clay, it is all 100% real. The mounds, the pitcher's mound. The bullpen mounds, everything like that is all 100% real dirt. It's maintained, it's sprayed down, it's chalked before every game. It's treated like real dirt because it is real dirt.
So the groundskeeper still has a job.
Yes, the groundskeeper definitely still has a job, and
won't be mowing
there
the lawn,
are as not mowing the lawn, but I'll tell you what, are as many processes with synthetic turf as there is real grass. I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. It has got to be cleaned, disinfected. It has got to be combed. So where you cut your grass, we comb ours.
Okay.
So it's fancy.
You got a stylist. So now
yes,
it's not groundskeeper, it's a stylist.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So yes, there are just as many processes with synthetic turf as there is real grass. So by no means will you not see us with a groundskeeper. We will definitely have a groundskeeper,
Okay.
and he will be hard. That person will be hard at work.
Oh, keeping everything, getting everything going. Now, I understand it's going to have lines in it too, so it'll look like
Yep.
You have a design.
We have picked out the design pattern. It's going to have lines that make it look like it was freshly mowed. It's gonna have those lines in it, and then we're gonna also be able to have our logo on the turf, just like a major league team would do, just like a lot of minor league teams do. We'll also have our logo behind home plate.
Now, is there any truth in the rumor that there's gonna be fresh grass cut smell being piped through the stadium?
It's a candle.
It's a candle.
It's a candle. Yeah.
A candle? Yeah. We pass it out for everybody so they get that little hit of that. Okay, I like that idea. I like that. That's a good idea. What's your idea?
Yeah. I'm gonna write that down. That's gonna be a giveaway. It's got to be giveaway soon.
I like that. So right now, if someone were to go to the stadium right now, what would they see?
Right now, what you would see is, well, first of all, the most exciting thing that you would see is the actual process of the grass being literally rolled out carpet style. I mean, it is all on the field right now, rolled up in giant tubes, and they are literally rolling it out like carpet. So that's the process that's happening right now. Our Jumbotron is up. It is 25 foot by 60 foot long. I've gone to Best Buy 3 times, and I'm pretty sure it's the biggest TV still in Fredericksburg is our Jumbotron. The left field wall, we've installed 167 feet of LED on the wall itself. So we're gonna have a very new age stadium, and a lot of that technology is already in. Yeah, I mean the seating bowl is probably 7/8 completed. I know that's a really weird fraction, but I get
really,
these.
I mean,
I get these updates every week. So
7%,
yeah.
Someone's
So
using slide rule.
exactly. So so we are in the process of putting in seats. The seats behind home plate that we are fancy seats that have the cushions. Those are all in, and then they are very comfortable.
Oh,
They are very comfortable. And so most of the concrete in the stadium is in. So it's very, very close to being able to be play ready. A lot of the work right now is going on in the outfield. We're constructing a massive bar above the left field wall, along with the Pohanka Nissan home run porch.
We're excited about that.
Absolutely. There is a lot of work going on in that area right now, as well as right field, where we have a bullpen party deck. It's a party deck that actually overlooks the visiting bullpen. So that's where the concentration of the work is right now. But to be honest, a lot of the work behind home plate, the field, the seating bowl, that all is for the most part finished at this point. The buildings down the first base, third base side are definitely being worked on every day. They're being built up, but like I said, the plan for that was not to be completely finished with those buildings by opening day of April 23rd. So we still have some contemporary plans in place in case, depending on when those buildings will or will not be ready. But for the most part, if you go out there right now, you'll see a lot of work in the outfield, but you'll see a field that's just about play ready right now.
Okay, so we talked about the stadium, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if we had to look for a positive in what's been a really, really bad start to the spring, you all having a better experience with the fans with everything being open.
Correct.
That would be nice.
Yes.
But let's talk about this season itself.
Yeah.
So
of course.
On the way in today, I heard discussions about players and not wanting to play in front of an empty stadium, and then you hear about baseball trying to get going on and they want to play maybe in Arizona or something like that. Where on that spectrum do you obviously you want them to play.
Of course, absolutely I do. Yeah.
But you can understand both sides of that.
Yes, I see.
And for you guys as an entertainment venue too, it's got to be playing at each one of those hard. I could see this person's point. I could see this person's point. Is baseball going to be the same if it's played in front of an empty stadium outside of the city that you live in?
Yeah.
I mean, do you how are people going to really bond with that?
It's going to be different. It's going to be different. I'm not going to say it's going to be worse. I'm going to say it's not going to be better. Yeah. It's not going to be better. Obviously, we want all of our hometown teams, whether that's MLB or minor league baseball across the board, we want them in our hometown, obviously. But the first thing that I'll say with this is, yes, I want to play baseball and I want to play it tomorrow. However, we are completely on board with every decision that major and minor league baseball have been making because the safety of those players, the safety of our front office staff, our current front office staff, and all of our game day employees, and especially the safety of our communities is number one. Is number one. So before, when I talk about how bad I want baseball to come back and how I'm ready to play tomorrow, I want to also say that we also completely agree with until the CDC, the World Health Organization, are able to tell us that it's safe for these people to congregate. We are all fine with waiting until that's a possibility because what's going on is serious and we don't want to take it lightly.
No, I don't
with
think,
that
I
in
don't
mind.
Think anyone does.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone does. I think it goes to show how complex this is.
Yes.
For a sports league.
Yes, and the other thing too that people don't realize is okay, they're not playing baseball. Not a big deal. Can we miss a baseball season? What's the big deal about that? Well, there are 160 minor league teams, and not all have the money of the Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. For society, if we're missing 4 months of baseball, okay, we missed 4 months of baseball. Don't forget that a lot of these teams, they have 70 openings to make their livelihood for whoever owns this team. For every employee that they employ, they only have 70 openings. If those 70 openings fall within those 3 or 4 months that we are all sitting out, that's not 3 or 4 months, and then that's an entire year. In an entire year of having a business closed is going to change the landscape, I think, of some teams throughout the country. Here's what I can say about Fredericksburg. We are very comfortable. We are very comfortable. We are incredibly fortunate in the fact that we are, and once again, I don't have these stats in front of me, but we are probably one of the only minor league teams that outright own their stadium, and team, of course. So we're here for the long haul, no matter what happens throughout all of this. So we are very confident in where we are at, no matter what happens over this next year. But I do think that what is going on here, if we have to miss significant time, half a season or more, that it could definitely change the landscape of not just minor league baseball, but sports in general, on what that could look like.
But let's talk about the logistics of this.
Yeah.
I want to come back and talk about the players and the team in a second, but let's talk about the logistics.
Yeah.
There is only so many ways to shorten the season.
Oh, there are.
Because you've got even if you were to compact the schedule, and you were to play as close to every day as humanly possible, there's only so many ways to do that.
Yeah, I've seen so many different models, from credible sources all the way down to Joe on Facebook. So I mean, there's a ton of ways to do this. One way that I just, from a personal level, I'm not speaking for the Fredericksburg Nationals.
No,
I'm not speaking for
make sure this part we're just you and me
for sure. One thing I definitely disagree with is let's just play all double headers to get all 162 games in. These guys need rest. Those arms need rest. I mean, you are going to be risking severe injury playing double headers for every day for a whole season. They need full 5 days of rest. They don't need 5 games of rest if you are playing 2 games a day. You can't go a whole season. The icons of our game, the Strasburgs, the Kurt Schillings of the Red Sox, when they went out there and they performed on a day or two of rest and performed at a high level, you can only do that in the playoffs. You can only do that in the World Series, and you can only do that if you're some of the greatest. Everybody else needs rest on those elbows, and so you're really risking injury with that. So I personally disagree with that model, purely from a baseball standpoint. Now, the other model that we are going to do whatever minor league and major league decide, but the other model that I'm not a fan of, but we will go to it, is playing in front of empty stadiums. And the only reason is if this was 2021, I would say I would be a lot more comfortable with it. But guys, I want our first game in Fredericksburg to be in front of Fredericksburg. I would hate for our first game in Fredericksburg to be in front of an empty stadium. But at the same time, if that's what we have to do to play baseball and to be safe and keep Fredericksburg safe, then we will obviously do whatever the recommendations of Major League, Minor League, and the CDC are.
So, when you look at this from a standpoint of these players, and, you listen to everyone, to your point, anyone with an opinion on Facebook can...
Oh, yeah, of course.
But you look at the logistics of what it takes to get these players onto a team.
Yep.
And then you look at the logistics of, is a team in that community suffering worse than this is? Is there a bigger outbreak over here? So now we got to travel to this part. Or you look at, these guys have all been sent home.
Yeah.
Some of them are not in this country.
Yes.
Some of them are in the Caribbean.
Yep.
Some are in Mexico. Some are probably back in Europe.
Asian countries. We have a large influence.
Literally everywhere in the world. And then it's not like I'm not knocking football. Football is primarily a North American sport.
Of course.
Baseball is a world sport. And you look at trying to get those people back in, and then all of what's it like in country A versus country B. It adds another layer of complexity.
It does.
So it's not just about, hey, why can't you just play in Arizona? Or why can't you just do this? Because you've got to bring in other teams. They're going to go through, an airport or a bus or whatever it is. So there is a lot more complexity than just, driving to the local lot and playing the game.
Yes, and it was just a few weeks ago the MLB Players Union had come out and said that they don't feel comfortable playing baseball until all of the bans across the country are lifted. So we're not just talking about when, if St. Louis, say the Cardinals, if the St. Louis is ready to go, St. Louis is going to start hosting games. No. If LA is still affected, if New York City, New Orleans, Detroit, some of these heavier hit areas that may take a little bit longer to be, quote unquote cleared, and okay for these social activities, the Players Union has come out and said that they want None of that left in the country before they play in front of a stadium.
And think that it's not really up to the CDC, and it's not really up to
It's
the
not.
Department of Health.
No, it's not.
And it's not
It's
really up
not.
to the Department to baseball.
Yep.
It's up to the individual mayors, governors, presidents.
It is.
Because our baseball is also multinational.
Yeah, there's so many layers that it really is up to, because it is up to all of them, but then it is up to baseball. If the government, one thing that I was on a call just a couple of days ago, there's a real possibility that here in Virginia, we're going to be cleared to be able to host events up to however many thousands of people before some other cities across America. I mean, just realistically speaking, we are, knock on wood. First of all, we are hopefully going to be one of the areas that are cleared to play before some of these heavier hit areas and heavier populated areas across the country. And so when we're able to play, but the LAs of the world, the New York Cities, the Chicagos of the world are not, they have teams.
Yeah.
How are the Nationals supposed to host the Cubs if the Cubs can't travel? There's layers upon layers on what's going on right now. You're exactly right.
And then you think just the logistics of getting people from one area to the other.
Yes, absolutely.
Most of these teams do fly charter.
Yeah,
So
of course,
they've
yeah.
got their own, but you don't.
At the major league level, I was just going to say at the major league level,
but at your level,
AAA, you're usually not chartering. You're on your Southwestern American flights, whatever that may be, to get to where you need to go. And at the pretty much AA and lower is a busing league. So the travel and logistics, there's a wall of things that need to be overcome before we're going to be able to really know what the landscape of this season is going to look like.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But the other part, though, and this is the other part that's important, when you look at every major crisis that has ever occurred in my lifetime, and I can imagine looking back in history, what has been the great unifier?
Sports.
It's been sports.
It is.
Whether it was the national anthem being sung by Whitney Houston,
after 9/11. Oh man.
All of these different things that were going on. From Desert Storm to your point about 9/11, to any of the shootings in local communities. What's crazy too, and I'm not advocating for this, because obviously my plan is to play baseball, whether it's June, May, July, whatever that may be. My plan is to play baseball this year, but the last time the minor league system didn't play a game of baseball, in 93, 94, when the strike happened, minor league baseball still happened. Major league baseball went on strike. You have to go back to World War II. Yeah.
World War II is the last time that we did not play a season in minor league baseball. What we are dealing with right now is just simply unprecedented.
We're lucky. We're a 100-year-old company, and I was able to go back and spend some time looking at archives of our company, and we've been through the World Wars.
Mm-hmm. Both?
Not both, just one.
Okay, right.
But 1919. So, but went through World War II. Lots of other wars, but not a world war, but the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few economic dips and valleys. But the thing that you have to keep in mind is just about continuing to be there, do what you do, and be engaged. And you guys are doing that by trying to stay involved in the community, which is something else that's an entirely other thing, which is amazing what you do. How is it that how is it that we can, when it is time to get back, you're going to be an important part of reunifying people, not to baseball, but to normal life,
to going out in public.
and that's going to be a very important part to get everybody back into feeling comfortable, not looking at your next door neighbor like, oh my God, you could be infecting me, but oh my God, you're my neighbor, and I want to reach out and I want to give you a hug because
XYZ
we've all made it. We've made it through this. That's going to be an integral part of what you guys are going to be doing.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. And when we open back up, we're going to be also just so along with this too, and it hits both sides of it. We're going to be taking every precaution that we can in the stadium, on the cleanliness side of cleaning the stadium, of cleaning specifically those concession areas where we're going to be serving food and having a lot of physical interaction with our staff. We're going to be doing everything we can, game in, game out, nights after the game, to make sure that our stadium is ready to go in a safe environment for our fans. But But yeah, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. And you know, one thing that we're already trying to do, and we're trying like heck to do it, but it's using our social media platforms. We have an amazing team that is working on essentially, without beating around the bush, trying to be the distraction of every other news article that you see. You know, we've recently released our mascot. We've pushed some timelines of some of our creative elements up a little bit to be able to fill this gap right now. And we didn't realize how long that gap would take, so we went through that pretty quickly. And so now we're just pumping out, in my opinion, hilarious videos, but videos that just try to take your mind off of everything else that everybody is going through right now, both in our community and across the world. So if you guys have a second to laugh, feel free to check out our social medias. They're doing some. Our team's doing some incredible things on there. Just having a lot of fun with our mascots, with the stadium, and everything like that. So it's a really good time. It's a really good time.
You know, one important partner that we have. You know, I guess I'm going to call him a pseudo partner now because we're in the stadium with you all. Is one of the other big Mount founding partners is Mary Washington.
Yes.
So you know, you know, I couldn't imagine. My sister's a nurse, and you know, it's already one of those things where you get a little bit of a fear. One of our co-owners,
of course,
daughter happens to be a pulmonologist, pediatric pulmonologist, and she's you know, involved in this pretty heavily. You know, you look at what they're doing, and they're a great partner.
Yeah,
they're a great partner for the community and what they're doing. So that's obviously plays a little bit on your thought process.
For sure. I mean, Mary Washington right now. I mean, them all healthcare professionals, but Mary Washington, I throw out because they're, like you said, a founding partner. Just the heroes of our community right now. What they're able to be doing and how they're taking care of us is just, you can't say enough about them. And they deserve all the credit in the world for what they're doing and how much they're risking themselves to be able to take care of our community. It's really incredible. It's really incredible, and in our community, how much they've gotten behind them. I've seen some churches and some big donations that have been made to make more supplies. I mean, Fredericksburg, I mean, it's just coming together so strong on this, and our goal is to celebrate that at the stadium when this is all said and done. Our goal is to have everybody out here and just make it, hopefully, a 2-3 month long party to celebrate what we've all been through together.
And you're right. It is together because if you look at it, I mean, we were dubbed an essential business by the government,
of course,
for transportation, and I understand that. I mean, you know, when you look at, no one really wants to take public transportation right now.
Correct.
I mean, we've had a lot of people come in to get their cars fixed. You know, they plan on keeping this car. You know, their budgets are tight.
Well, say I mean, just a doctor or a nurse, cars break down and they need a new one. I mean, you've got to get them to those hospitals.
But it's more than that. You look
absolutely.
You look at the people at all the grocery stores. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at, and they've done an amazing job. I mean, you still can't find toilet paper in town. I don't know how you're going to stock your stadium with toilet paper, because I mean, is that going to be an exchange for tickets? You bring in a roll of toilet paper. Here's your ticket, because we have nothing for that.
Now that's a promotion we can get behind.
Yeah, because we have nothing in the they'll be at the stadium. Yeah, paying out in that. You know, that's the thing I will tell you that it was impressive to me. I had to go get some supplies, and I was in a store. I'll leave it at that. And I'm looking at these people who are stocking the shelves, and I don't know whether their company said they could or could not wear masks or what they could do, but they're out there putting. You know, they're out there, and it's really been a great time to watch the community, though, because you're seeing people be a little kinder.
They are.
You know, to be a little bit more cognizant of their neighbor. You know, I'm watching people that are going knocking on neighbors' doors and saying, "Hey, look, I know, you know, well, through the door jam. You know, hey, I know that you're an at-risk group.
Yeah.
We'll go to the store for you."
That's awesome.
And those are the things I think that make Fredericksburg a great place, and you guys are going to be a great addition to it. You know, you mentioned the mascot. You mentioned everything. I'll tell you, I'm excited. I mean, I wish we could be out there right now and say, "Okay, great, let's go hit some balls off the. Pitch me some balls. We'll get it out of there."
Yeah, and believe me, as do I.
So, but thank you for coming by.
For sure.
I appreciate it. Everyone, this is Tim Pohanka. I've been here with Nick. Thank you very much from the Fredericksburg Nationals, talking about the stadium and a little bit of going on with COVID. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back for more episodes.